Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I'm going to be doing another video of Every Card Has a Story. We're going to be talking about two cards today from my favorite deck, and no, it's not Blue Eyes White Dragon. It is Gravekeepers Chief and my Gravekeepers Visionary. I actually have two Gravekeepers Visionary, but the other one's in my binder still. I just didn't want to pull it out. But these two cards, they mean so much to me. So, as I've told you guys on the channel for a long time, my favorite deck is actually Gravekeepers because they're an anti-meta deck. They were very good, you know, doing the late 5Ds era when scraps were a thing. Spy, in the early part of Yu-Gi-Oh's history, doing like the GX era, that was a great tribute engine. Before Cyber Dragon came out. But yeah, you would set your spy, flip up, if they attack it, you flip up your spy, you get another spy, and then you could sack one off for a Monarch, or whatever the case may be. But it was actually a thing back then. But it was a very good engine. And then Necro Valley has always been a good side deck card. So I've always loved GKs as a deck, and just as tech. But as you guys know, GKs are one of the oldest archetypes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I started playing the deck way back in the day. It was one of my early decks I started playing. I played it for a very long time, up until the early 5Ds era. Then I took a break for a couple of, you know, I disassembled the deck, and then I put it back together when the Merrick structure decks came out, and even before that, when Pod Duality got released, because I found out it worked very well, and especially after Fraser Smith won, and I think it was YCS Atlanta, and like him and his buddies got top 3, and they all had GK decks. So I was like, oh yeah, it's time to rock and roll with GKs, because it shut down plants and scraps back then. So it was awesome. But back to my roots here. Gravekeepers Chief. It was the original boss monster, so to speak, of Gravekeepers. Came out a long time ago. It was came out, I believe it was in Pharaonic Guardian. I think that's the proper one that it came out of. And it came out with Necro Valley, Cataville Omens, some random old GKs, Gravekeepers Spy, Gravekeepers Assailant, and Gravekeepers Chief. Then you also had random stuff like Gravekeepers Cannon Holder, which I ran for a hot minute for a couple times, which was kind of fun because you could do burn damage. But yeah, Gravekeepers Chief was actually one of my boss monsters, and I ran 2 of it. It was a very good card. It helped you reborn Gravekeepers from the graveyard without, you know, interfering with your graveyard mechanism of not being able to reborn stuff. And I've had this Gravekeepers Chief for a very long time, and I actually still have one of my super rare Necro Valleys that I run in my Gravekeepers deck. I was going to put that in this video, but I decided not to. I just wanted to talk about the monsters. But yeah, Gravekeepers Chief I used to run back in that original deck way back in the day. And then, like I said, as time went on, they got legacy support like Commandant in the GX era. And then in the 5Ds era, I think that's when we got Commandant, which I ran in for a very long time, up until probably, I would say, 2013. I ran Commandant, Visionary, excuse me, and Visionary was my boss. Like I always ran one Visionary in the deck, because even though I ran it like an anti-meta with some dualities and whatnot, especially after Duality got the reprint, remember, Visionary was so awesome in the deck. The fact of the matter is it was very easy to bring out as a 1 tribute, and he could be 3,000 attack. And this is back in the days when attack still mattered some degree. Even in the 5Ds era, this card was pretty good when I was playing it. And it was very strong. It helped get over things. it was a problem your opponent had to answer as a big monster. And late in duels, back when there was more of a grind game in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And not so much all OTK based oriented, in the early 5Ds era, it really wasn't completely OTK. I mean, yeah, you did have Frog OTK and stuff like that, and different decks like Teledad, but there was a little bit more of a grind game to the game. It wasn't make my board, crack it. So what you would do is you were able to have a big beat stick on board, and you could just attack over things. And the fact that he could protect himself was so good, because if you guys don't remember Gravekeeper's Visionary's effect, you can normal summon this card by attributing one Gravekeeper monster. This card gains 200 attack for each Gravekeeper in your graveyard. If the face-up card on the field would be destroyed, you can discard one card at one Gravekeeper monster from your hand. So it was a well-built card. So you sack off a GK, a recruiter, a spy, whatever the case was. You sack off a recruiter, get a search. You could sack off a spy that was sitting on the field because you didn't want to go into a descendant play to pop a card. So you get that, and then if you had more Gravekeepers in hand, you could just keep pitching cards to protect it from being destroyed by things like Dark Hole, Mirror Force, whatever the case may be. It was very hard in a pre-Exceed era to get around, and even in the early Exceed era, it was still very good. And it was just very hard to get around, and if they were trying to destroy it, back when destroying cards was more prevalent to some degree. Like, I had people try to Scrap Dragon it, and I'm like, nope, discard. Oh, my monster's more powerful now. And it would cause some situations where, yes, my attack was lower than my opponent's monster, but I had like maybe 2 GKs in hand or a GK in hand. So if they try to destroy it, I would pitch it. So I'd always keep some cards in hand. And it was this guessing game of like, oh, do you have that GK in hand? Oh, dang it, he has that GK. Oh, he doesn't. Like, I would keep like 1 or 2 cards in my hand, and they would keep wondering, like, does he have a GK in hand if I destroy it? So they would have to come up with at least 2 ways or more to destroy my GKs to get around this big visionary attack monster. And like I said, I've loved GKs for forever. I play more of an anti-meta version. I know Six Samurais recently got support, and I'm really, really hoping that GKs get a little bit more support. They got some in Legacy of the Valiant like 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm hoping within the next year or so, GKs get a little bit more love, because I love that deck to death. I really, really love this deck, and it means so much to me. And now that Allure is back at 3 of, it even makes me more happy about the deck. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video of every card has a story, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you. Take care, everybody.